right.
Your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I have the CEO of ArcBlock. He's listed on Coinbase, and we're going to talk about ArcBlock and kind of get some updates going, and kind of take it from there. But first and foremost, Robert, thank you for coming back, and I do want to just shout you out because you look like you lost a lot of weight. I know you're hitting the gym.
Yes, yeah. So, thanks a lot for this event, right? So, and also it has been a while since our last talk, right? Even though we talked on the Twitters all the time, but talking on the camera, that's probably like a 1.5, probably 2 months ago.
Well, you're a hard man to get a hold of. I know when you get really busy, you get really busy. So it's. I know I've been hounding you a little bit, but I had to get you on. So
I honestly, I really feel so happy that you say that I look slimmer, right? Because actually, I gained a lot of weight because I went for an Asian trip. I went to Japan, to Singapore, and also Hong Kong for a business trip. And during the time, I also have a quick trip to China. Oh, the food there are amazing, right? So I gained a lot of weight after I come back. And then I went to the gym quite a bit.
I can imagine. Well, I've been trying to do 4x a week at least. And besides that, I'd love to go to Hong Kong. I know that's a major hub for the crypto sector now. And it looks like they're opening a lot of doors. I did take a look at, the event out there. How was that event? I saw you, there was a lot of big names that were hanging out looking at new Web3 projects.
I did not come to that specific event because it's too crowded, but I come there earlier, a few weeks before, to get in touch with a few people I know. Because, it's always easier to kind of meet people privately before the event, because during the event it's really crowded, right?
Yeah, you don't really get to have like that longer conversation either. What can you tell me more about? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Xiao? Xiao? Xiao?
Oh, Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng is a very he is a respected person in China. I don't know if anybody listened to our space before, because I do have a conversation with him about the decentralized identity before. He's a very respected investors and also entrepreneurs and in the crypto space. And I think one of the thing in the crypto space, he's famous because he invested in Vitalik when Vitalik just beginning to starting the Ethereum project, right? So that's also gave him a lot of reputations. And he actually involved in the Square DAO. That is a DAO that ArcBlock actively involved in. And actually, I'm one of the organizers one of the 4 organizers of the Square DAO. And he is actually active members. And potentially, we're going to have another conversation regarding AI and Web3. Because again, we actually just have a few of the debate with the DAO members about what is actually the relationship between AI and Web3. Are they totally two separate concepts, or is just because AI is popular, so a bunch of those kind of crypto projects just want to take advantage of the marketing? I'm kind of I think during the conversation, I believe that Mr. Xiao and I are sharing some kind of a very similar ideas, that we think that AGI, that is general AI, and the Web3 naturally has they are complementary to each other, right? So they are very different technology, and from some point of view, they're not that related, and even sometimes they have a little bit conflict in terms of decentralizations, right? Because today most of the AI they're pretty much quite centralized, especially like for example, for anything that provided by OpenAI, they're no longer open, they're not open sourced, and also they are pretty centralized. However, that actually means that Web3 could play a very important role if the AI want to go mainstream, because So there's a lot of interesting things that I think we can talk about. And our blog, our blog, we started to looking into the generative AI and large language model since last year. And we did a couple of research and to thinking what it means to Web3. So that's actually why we eventually released the AI kit earlier this year. And after that, we are basically doubling down on the AI and the Web3 working together. We're working on the direction to bring AI to Web3. We're not changing to AI, or we're not switching to AI, but instead we are thinking, hey, how we bring the core part of the AI into the Web3, and how to let the Web3 contribute to the key value for a serious AI application. So this is the direction that we are working on, and I think this is a perfect match, especially when we dig more and more into the AI technology. I think the ArtBlock platform is actually perfect. We're really a step ahead, because ArtBlock, as people who know ArtBlock, that ArtBlock itself is not exactly just a blockchain, right? ArtBlock is a platform to help developers build decentralized applications. Blockchain is just a part of any decentralized applications. And I also believe that AI is also going to be a part of any decentralized applications. So after we introduce AI kit, the positioning of the AI kit in the ArtBlock whole architect is very similar to ArtBlock's OCAP protocol, Open Chain Access Protocol, right? So I can kind of.
I'm so happy you brought that up. That's an awesome topic. Let's go further on the OPAC. I think a lot of people don't realize this, and this is something I like to bring up to everybody, because it's like, okay, when people think of ArtBlock, and there's a variety. I always tell people, it's like, whenever I'm describing ArtBlock, it's extreme use case, because it's not just DID wallet. That's and Shao's complimented that a lot. You know, when you guys did that Spaces with Squared Out, he wrote a whole article about how it was first to market, W3C compliant. You know, and then on top of that, I know he's not small change either. Whenever he wants to do something, he wants to get it done. He successfully raised $500 million recently to try to take a look at more Web3 projects or expedite the growth of what those companies are doing. So I do like to see a lot of that as well. Just, I think that the AI, it can do a lot, but it still needs some direction, but it also still needs tools to make dApps a little bit faster or a little bit more accurately. So, you know, I really like a lot about what we're seeing within that space. What can you tell us more about the OPAC? And, you know, let's kind of dive into this next part where it's like, So
that's OCAP. So when we talk, because OCAP is ArtBlock's blockchain part, right? So when we introduced ArtBlock white paper, a very important concept was Open Chain Access Protocol. The idea is a middle tier, because at the time when ArtBlock just started, Ethereum is very immature, and there's many other different type of blockchain solutions. And for developers, the first question is, what kind of blockchain do I want to talk to, right? So which blockchain is suitable for me? So that's how we bring in this Open Chain Access Protocol concept. Is basically, it's a middle tier. So when you develop an application itself, you don't really need to worry about what kind of blockchain you really want to go in. And also potentially maybe any of today's blockchain is not good enough for your application. That's fine, right? But you cannot, if you have a great idea, you want to build something, you cannot stop and wait others to build anything for you, right? So I kind of compared the OCAP, very similar to our today's AI kit. From the architect, they're basically like at about the same level. The AI kit is a middle tier for AI models, right? For today, if you're playing with different AI models, OpenAI is super popular, and AI kit right now, the major support for the OpenAI is major support in the AI kit is for the OpenAI's backend. But Bing also providing the AI backend. So Bing's version is actually essentially the same of the OpenAI, but the Bing's infrastructure provided. And there's also for the AIGC content like Stable Diffusion and like the Mid Journal. They're different backends, but for the developers, if I want, for example, if I want to create an AIGC NFT, right? Should I use DAI? Should I use Mid Journal? Should I use create a Stable Diffusion for that? A lot of developers or a lot of artists, you're going to have no idea. And if you want to dig into each of them, some of them are really easy to onboard, but they have a lot of limitations. Like we talked offline, right? So you have artists have a great idea, but when they look at the Mid Journal is very popular, but when they look into how to use Mid Journal, and Mid Journal is a hosted service, they imposed a lot of limitations. You cannot type a lot of words. There's a lot of censorship in the Mid Journal. So to avoid that, you want to have your best idea. You probably need to self-host something like a Stable Diffusion for yourself. But all of those are really hard, are super hard for artists or for someone to start early, right? So the AI kit is basically like a mid-tier, right? So you just use this mid-tier and you write the same prompt. Today you could use OpenAI's large language model or even use DALL-E's AIGC models. But tomorrow you can connect it to another large language model or another AIGC engine, and so that's how we see how the AI kit should kick in, right? So the AI kit, another important part for the AI kit is also very similar to the OCAP, is we provide a generic interface and a generic and a standard interface for you to create different applications, right? So, for example, in OCAP protocol, we actually use GraphQL. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We actually reused the GraphQL query language for anything that you want to talk to the blockchain. You don't write your customer, APIs or customize RPC. Just use a standard GraphQL. And for the AI, if any of you are interested in today's AI is there's new program language called Prompt. So the good news is this kind of program language is not a programming language; it's natural language, right? If you want to let the AI to do something for you, you don't need to write any code. Instead, you just talk to the AI like a person.
Yeah, like, hey, this is what I need done or whatever. And that's
that's amazing. That's actually is a Democrat for anybody, because in the past, only developers, if I'm a developer, I'm a programmer, right? I have the privilege because I can write code, right? If you have a great idea, you cannot do it. So the AI is actually bring the better Democrat for everybody, right? So if you have an idea, you know the natural language, you can speak the language, you can create you can train the AI to let the AI do the things. I give you one example. For example, right now, our first eco project that built on AI kit is Astro. It's an astrology application, right? So but the astrology application. So our astrologist who worked on this idea, she does not speak English. She only knows Chinese, right? And she's not a developer. She's an astrologist, right? She can barely use a computer. But after we teach them with the AI kit, so she basically trained the AI with Chinese and then she does not write a code. She just write a prompt in Chinese, and then this model actually work for any kind of language. I think it work for 26 different languages accurately for the astrology, right? So that's amazing, right? So that basically means that with the AI, so anybody, for example, you can speak English, right? You can use the English to teach the AI to do something. And then that AI can turn out eventually the product that you created can serve somebody from Japan, from China, and from Germany, right? Because AI do all those language for you. So that's huge. That's something huge.
It's something that's needed right now because, MYC community, we built our own app from ground level up. It's Odd App, and we have it on Apple and Google and all that stuff. And it's night and day difference from when we first started it. When we launched in January, there was a lot of different bugs and slow processing, stuff like that. We went through the fixing, and Now it performs pretty well, but there's still more work to be done. And I feel like that's what we're missing. I feel like, although there's a lot of software developers out there and, different engineers that you might need for this job or that job, I feel like there's still a big gap in what we need to get things done faster. Because a lot of the times when you're hiring people, and for those of you that are new to software or new to the crypto sector, one day when you build something or whatever, it's a lot of work, but a lot of the times, when you're purchasing hours or whatever, or you're trying to hire somebody, they charge you by how many hours they're dedicating to your app per month and all that stuff. Well, imagine if you're purchasing that time, but, maybe an AI is getting 10x the work done, and that's one thing I like about ArcBlock is because I know this is something that's going to be needed. I need it. I appreciate your services a lot more than the casual person because I'm building my own app. I'm working with software. I'm working with these types of guys all the time where I'm like, I really need you guys to get this done. So it takes a lot of time.
It's also we in the ArcBlock team we have a small team. We have a team specifically where the NFT teams are using the AI to even help to write some code, right? So the latest NFT marketplace with some of the feature, for example, the filter feature is completely generated by AI. It's not by our engineers. So we're trying to experiment more things to see what AI can capability to do. Essentially, because ArcBlock is a platform to help developers to build the apps, right? So if we can use the AI to let the developers build the apps easier, so that's also a big plus, right?
Yeah.
I think another huge thing a lot of people didn't see, because I recently talked to a bunch of people when they confused and asked me, say, hey, you seem to like you spend a lot of time in the AI. Are you kind of going to change direction from the Web3 to the AI? I said, no, it's not, because we're still firmly believe that Web3 blockchain has its bright futures. But I also do see AI as a capability that we want all those kind of Web3 developers can have, right? And also something that people don't see is that a very big potential for the AI application is something called an AI agent. Because let the AI just write an article for you is cool, but it's not that cool, right? Let the AI to kind of give you some advice like an astrologist is something very interesting, right? But not that interesting. What's really interesting is AI. You can imagine you can have an AI that actually act as an agent that do things for you, right? For example, I say, hey, I want to come to China, or I want to visit Asia in this summer, right? So right now, after the reopen, the airline ticket is like crazy, right? So it's crazy. It's really hard to get a ticket. And so if you, I imagine there's AI, I can tell the AI, say, hey, I have this kind of, this period of time, I want to come to, visit China. And what is the best time, and what is the best airline, what's the best ticket, and what best hotels. Somebody can plan it for me, right? Today, you either spend your time yourself, or you have to have a personal assistant. This assistant search the website and make the reservation and for you, right? But imagine that in the near future, you're going to be able to have an AI to fully automatically do this, right? But when you let the AI agent do all of those automatically, a very important question is kind of going to float up: how to pay, right? Imagine there's an agent that is very good at
maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
A very good agent, very good at booking flight. Another agent good at booking the hotels, right? And also another agent is very good at kind of making the plans for the travels. It's really hard. It's probably not impossible. It's not possible in the future that one company we're going to dominate them all. It's going to be a lot of decentralized agents, many different agents, and then most of those agents, they are working for individuals, right? How do you let those agents to talk with each other, and how do they kind of pay the service for each other, right? Are they going to use a credit card? Probably not. Credit card is slow. And also, as a user, you probably do not want to give your credit card to an AI to automatically spend it.
It would be nice, like per agent, you give them a digital wallet, or maybe you give them a spending allowance to get whatever you want done, and then they find a way to meet that budget. Maybe that'd be kind of
exactly. Cool. I think the AI agent, the perfect answer for the AI agent is crypto, right? In the future, all those kind of AI agents, when they talk to each other, when they decided to cooperate with each other, so that's going to be paid in the crypto, and the contract between them are going to be smart contract, right? That's exactly very similar to our blog's concept of the blocklets, right? If you buy a blocklet, this blocklet using others developers blocklet, and whenever the end user pay, so the payment is going to automatically split to many different developers who contributed to this application, right? The same thing happened in the AI agent is, if I want to get this test done, right? If anybody ever played that Auto GPT or Baby GPT, that is very popular in the last couple of weeks, you will see when you give the instruction for the Auto GPT to have a task, right? So that AI going to expand that task into many different tasks, and then they expand that task into even more tasks. So that's actually people getting things done. You usually have to looking into many different websites, checking out a lot of different services. Eventually, you pay multiple different people to get one thing done.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, but for the AI to make these things smoothly, I think the only answer, if it is not the perfect thing, I think almost is, I would say the only answer should be the cryptocurrency. It's not today's bank, not today's credit card. It's going to be the cryptocurrency in some kind of form to let the AI agent to pay the service for each others. And when they use AI agent, they work together. You need to ensure that they actually confront some kind of a contract, right? So imagine I let my AI buy a ticket. I cannot, it should never happen. So when I go to the gate and the airline tell me that, shoot, this is not a valid ticket, right? So I need to ensure all of those they have.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be like a lot of trial and error. And one thing I do want to touch base on too is, a lot of people, they think that AI is supposed to be just a full topic or one big brand, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is, you remember how just a while ago you were saying that, some people were asking if you were pivoting to AI. And I think this is silly to think about, because AI is a tool. It's an attachment you put on to your services already, or you put onto your product already to amplify what you could get done at a faster rate. And so that's why I think a lot of people have a misconception. I mean, there's a lot of companies that, center around AI, I guess, maybe for the marketing, like you're saying, but it's more important to use AI as the tool attached to dApps, or attached to maybe you attach different tools to the AI to build different apps or whatever the case. One thing.
Exactly. So the AI, I always say AI is a capability, it's just like imagine, right, in the past, the website, like the website, right? So if you are a restaurant and then now you need a website, but that website of the restaurant does not change your business type. You're still a restaurant, but you have a website to communicate better with your clients, right? With your customers.
Just because you have an automated door to open up the doorway doesn't mean that now you're an automated door company, right?
Exactly. I believe in the future, everybody going to need AI in some sort of way. And actually, anybody right now building any application on our blog can have the AI capability very easily. For example, once you install the AI kit, all the pages kit and the discuss kit, all other Web3 kit, we're going to automatically have an AI built in. So for example, if you install a discuss kit, you will see when the user, if you also install the AI kit, in the discuss kit, you can use the AI to automatically write the content for you. You can also use the AI to automatically improve the content for you. So that is not possible without the architect of the blocklets. So I think this is a.
Well, I mean, you think about it. What do you get a human for, right? You get a human to be your editor. Or you get a human to do this or do that. Now, I remember during one of your tweets, you said that you were going to actually put together maybe a marketing campaign with an AI agent. Can you tell us more about that?
So that is a plan. So that I just mentioned the agent, right? Imagine today let's kind of dig into, for example, today's our a social media agency. A lot of companies using, and we also used
There are
one
a bunch
before.
of scams and hoax.
What do they do, right? Do they create a campaign for you? They do the research and create the campaign for you, and they figure out what kind of content to post in different campaigns. And then eventually they have a lot of people or some kind of a semi-automatic stuff to post the campaign from time to time. And they also a bunch of people to engage to the people who responds to your campaign, right? So that's the job they do. So if you look into this, think that part by part, you will see almost nothing you cannot do with the AI, right? So.
One thing I don't like with marketing companies is they charge you based on user reach. And that's the bullshit that I don't like about a lot of these agencies, because what they do is they say, well, we're going to do a marketing campaign. It's X amount of dollars and we're going to reach this many users. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people, including Elon Musk himself, have found out about Twitter and a variety of these other social media platforms is you got a lot of fake accounts. You got a lot of duplicate accounts. You got a lot of robots on top of that, So when you get into that type of that realization, you start to understand just how small the crypto sector really is. I mean, yes, it's growing, but it's still in its baby phase. I say, to the point where I don't really think that the numbers that they project out there are really as many people in the sector as there really is. I mean, I think, were you there for the, when Elon was doing like that big broadcast about how the government was basically spying on people's messages and all that stuff or whatever? When he did that announcement, there was literally probably like over 100 million people, quote unquote, between all these different influencers, including Elon, and only 30,000 people showed up to that monstrous event. So how does 100 million people on the list and only 30,000 people show up on this mega platform? That's what kind of made me feel like, Twitter is more, I feel like there's probably over 50% fake accounts on Twitter, personally. I personally feel like there's way more filler. And I think it does reduce the cost when you're using AI agents, because if you're using an AI agent, you're not going to be charged all this crazy amounts of money. You're going to get an AI that'll pick apart who to broadcast marketing to. I feel like it would be smarter marketing, if anything.
Yeah, I think this is still early ideas, but I think anybody who are interested in these ideas can actually collaborate and work and get in touch with me. And we are starting to working on a few of those kind of agents that just for itself. But if anybody interested in building this kind of agent with our PLOW platform, I think we have the tools and we have the ideas, we have the tools. And I think this is a very, very, front-end bleeding edge area that not a lot of people are doing this. I think this is a great opportunity for building something really cool. And also it's if using our PLOW platform, it's going to be easy, right? So I still kind of really focus on bringing on board partners that can building application, building project on our block. So now with the AI, we just getting broader, right? Because in the past, we always looking for people who building something with crypto, with blockchain, with Web3, DID. Now we have another very good reason. Say, hey, if you want to build amazing AI stuff, right? So our blog is a platform to help you to build that. And plus, so this new AI stuff going to have the advantage of the Web3. Important thing is first is privacy, right? So AI is going to there's a lot that you heard the news that today there's an important guy and Hinton, he left Google and he left the Google brand. Yeah. Right. So, and he's actually the professor of the chief scientist of OpenAI. And one thing from the news is say that he want to leave Google because he want to warn the people the risk of today's AI. I believe there's a lot of risks today's AI, but I firmly believe one of the risks is a privacy, right? If you imagine if you a company if our organization just get all those data sucked in from you, from everybody, and it can use that for a lot of bad things.
Yeah, I think the idea is going to be solving a lot of those issues, because a lot of the reasons why you have people that do silly things on the internet is because they feel like they can't get found, or they feel like, you know, they could just make fake accounts or do all that stuff. That was one of the main reasons why we built OddApp, because we wanted to have a better secure location to congregate in instead of, you know, Discord, Telegram. These were all really bad apps that don't provide any sort of privacy. There's geolocation targeting now on Twitter. You know, so
those giant guys, when after they have the AI, if they don't really be respectful for users' data, it's going to be a disaster, right? So imagine, for example, like WeChat, right? WeChat, everything that we talked in WeChat, because a lot of the Chinese friends, we have to use WeChat. All those data is stored somewhere, and in the past they can search them, but imagine in the future when they have AI, they build all those kind of a comprehensive relationship amount. So that's going to be very super scary, right? So that's come back to the decentralized identity, and also another important thing is called MyData, which is a spec and also organization started in the Nordic European, right? So in the European Union right now is in the front line of the protecting users' data privacy and protecting the user data, and you probably heard about that. So MyData Global just awarded ArtBlock as one of the MyData Operator Award.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So that I believe this is a huge thing, right? So it's right now it's very early for even for MyData, for the data protection is early, but I think this is huge. This is first of all, I think this is a recognition from MyData Global. That means that they pretty much they agree that ArtBlock has created something that that is kind of following their recommendation and the suggestions, right? And also, I'm going to attending MyData's conference in Europe by the end of this month, and also I'm going to speak in the conference. They're going to kind of make an announcement for the latest MyData operators. I'm going to in that session. I'm also going to have my own session talking about how to use MyData and how to use decentralized identity to protect the user's data privacy and protect user privacy in this kind of AI age, right?
So it should be like that. You know, first of all, it shouldn't be. Information shouldn't be so freely out there to the point where, you know, people could look up your family, look up where you live, you know, you shouldn't be able to be tracked through all these different apps. Like slowly but surely, the sector is starting to understand why security and privacy and encryption is so important. And I think the more and more as we go into the future, people are going to really realize, like, wow, this is actually a big issue. Like, how many people out there have, and for those of you that remember back in the day when Facebook came out in 2004, you know, one of the biggest problems with Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you know, right now is that people stalk you. They'll stalk your family, they'll stalk your friends. For those of you that have a crazy ex-girlfriend or a crazy ex-boyfriend and they continuously follow you throughout your social media presence, like at some point, people got to realize, like, how many weirdos like that are stalkers, you know, let's say, as an example, make fake accounts? How many stalkers or weirdos make fake accounts and maybe try to keep going to your same YouTube or keep going to your same profile or doing this? All of these things are cowards that hide behind fake accounts. So when you have a digital identification and that's you, and that's going to be your gateway entry to Web3, it's going to be a lot different, because I think people are going to become more responsible about what they do online. And I think that's what's needed. For sure.
Yeah, totally. I think so right now, I think we are just kind of in the new era of a lot of amazing and nice technology, and also new problem to have for, you know, not just for our blog, it's actually for the whole, you know, human being, right? So we have a blockchain, we have Web3, and there's a good actors and bad actors in these sectors. And then now we have new AI. We have a breakthrough of the AI, and again in the AI, they're going to have very bad actors and also good actors, right?
Yeah.
And we have there's people that are pioneer into this and realize that we need to protect the user's data, protect our privacy and identity. And there's also companies that are refusing to doing this, especially for those kind of large companies. They
can't afford it. They can't afford it because they're too big. They're too big, and for what they need in order to operate, they're not going to be able to mine the data. So a lot of these companies are going to go under. I feel like if I personally see in the future that Twitter or X.com is going to be a fully paid subscription app. I don't think there's going to be free accounts anymore. In fact, I think within the next 5 years, there will not be an app that you could log into for free. I think everything's going to have some sort of subscription model, because eventually within the next 5 to 10 years, I would say that data is going to be so protected, because data is gold. Gold is data, and I think the more we protect that, the better. And then I know that more and more people are going to see it more important because now more than ever, people are online. Everyone is online. So because your internet spirit is online all the time, they're going to start treating the internet or Web 3.0 as the new Matrix, or the new virtual reality of things. And I think that's where the metaverse comes in, and a variety of other things too. One thing I do want to touch base on, so I've always looked into ArcBlock, and I know that they're targeting the AI agent aspect of things, but what is machine learning to ArcBlock?
So machine learning itself is a very big, broad and big area, right? So, for example, today's large language model, they're all built on machine learnings. I want to say for AI right now, if you're looking into the AI, even different companies or a lot of people are talking about it. They're working on something on AI, but actually they're different directions, right? So company like OpenAI and Google, they're building those models. They're basically doing for the large model, they're basically on the pre-trained side. They're basically training the model and try to be the backend, right? Like company like ArcBlock, when we do the AI kit, when we are more on the application side, right? So our purpose is not build the model. Our purpose is you have to use the model to solve a real world problem, right? So that turned to be, for example, ArcBlock. In ArcBlock, right now we don't do anything that directly involved into the machine learning, because the good thing is because right now the OpenAI, Google, and other larger companies they did all of those. They get all of those stuff done, right? Yeah, exactly. So we just need to help the developer to figure out how to use them. So for the machine learning is a very broad topic, and I get involved into a little bit when I was in Microsoft research, and it usually require a lot of kind of a background in the computer science and research, and also it's a very kind of resource intensive. You need to have a large volume of data and a lot of computing powers to handle it, right? So today, if you are for a startup, if you want to build a new model, it's going to be tough, right? It's not impossible, but it's going to be tough. Usually, you need to be a computer scientist, right? You have to have a lot of a kind of a new idea into how to build it, right? And also, you need to. Other than that, you need a lot of resource. You need a data. You need a computing resource. But if you want to just use the AI to build an application, right? Like imagine, for example, build an agent to automatically buy the ticket, like another agent automatically to plan the travel for you. It does not need a rocket science, technology, right? Instead, because you're using AI, you are actually getting into the new era that you no longer not that much need software developers. Instead, you just need your domain knowledge. I think the new AI going to bring a golden age for professionals, not for the software developers, but for the professionals. Like for example, our Astro, the core part, part of the Astro, the core team is no longer the developer. The core team is an astrologist, right? So we're going to have a new application on the AI therapist application that is right after the astrology application. So the core team are not developers; they are therapists. They're doctors. They're therapists. So they do not need to know
like a lot of stuff. It really does, because it's like because the whole point of ArcBlock is to allow somebody from the ground level with no coding experience, low code, no code, like literally somebody from ground level that could go out and create anything they want using your platform. And that's the point, to bring your everyday person into the field, because there's a lot of great ideas out there. There's a lot of great services and products that are waiting to get into the market. But the problem is they're like me. I only know so much, or I can only do so much for myself when it comes to my software development. So I have my dev team. So like,
yeah, I believe, Dion, you only have this problem like for a few years. Maybe in 5 years you no longer have this problem anymore, because you can just talk to the AI. Say, hey, AI, build me this app, right? Build me this MYC app. It need to have this kind of feature, that kind of feature, and then boom, AI generate that for you. And then you just act at the like a test. You say, hey, this part is not good. That part I need to change. You talk to the AI, and then the AI change that for you, right?
OnApp has been growing pretty decently. So by the time another 4 years goes by, let's say, maybe my dev team will be 3 times as big. So now I get to fire 3 times as many people. I'm just kidding.
You look at, for example, if you look at Mid-Journal, the AIGC content company, they only have 11 employees, right? Include the founders. But they use the AI. They basically can compete with the company with like thousands or tens of thousands painters to create the image, right? So I think the AI technology is going to bring a new kind of a opportunity for anybody who have an idea or who have a domain knowledge, who want to create some kind of application. And also, as I say, with the ArcBlock platform, that makes things easier. And also, we think step ahead is the converge with the Web3, which has a crypto payment, which has user privacy and data. And so that makes the AI application be a real business. So I can totally see the future is coming, and so AI. I think the AI is a breakthrough, and this is a surprise for. I think this is a surprise for the whole mankind, right?
Yeah, it'll expedite a lot of development. That's the biggest thing for me, because it'll help me as well, and it'll help a lot of our builders. I feel too. I got one last question for you.
Excellent. I think we are right on time. That's great.
Yeah, it's a little bit far left, but I noticed inside the DID wallet, I looked through a variety of different apps. I see some storage dApps. I see NFT marketplaces. I see people that could I saw you pretty much have like the NFTs for tickets and all that stuff. There's really no reason for Eventbrite at that point, but I did see Twitter token, and I had a couple questions about I saw one of the posts back then where you had posted when Elon originally acquired Twitter, and you put DID inside his graph. If you were going to add DID to Twitter, what do you think DID could do for applications like Twitter, let's say?
I think imagine, if I have the opportunity to kind of to give some ideas for Elon Musk how to kind of turn the Twitter into, right? I think the decentralized identity is definitely one of the very important concepts that I think could add the value to it, right? So if you look at it, Jack Dorsey, right? He created Twitter and what he's working on, right? He worked on the Web 5, he worked on the Blue Sky. They're both of those kind of projects that he tried to promote. They're decentralized social network, right? So they want to make the social network no longer centralized. They need to be decentralized, right? to be able to have the social network decentralized, you need a decentralized identity, right? So there is a one of the product called Mastodon. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, a lot of people left Twitter and moved to Mastodon. Mastodon is a decentralized social network, but without a decentralized identity. And that kind of a creating that kind of a solution solved some problem, but creating a new problem, right? Yeah. It just you just escaped one of the big kingdom that is dictated by a corporate like Twitter, right? But then you come into many small kingdoms that has dictators of the people who running that instance, right? Yeah. You're still not in control, and even worse because your identity has been kind of separated into different instances, right? Yeah. So for the decentralized identity, I think the big thing for the decentralized identity is the ID is self-sovereign. Self-sovereign means that you own your identity, right? So it's not some identity that others give you. It's not the identity that people you apply from others. It's basically you control your identity, right? For any of those kind of decentralized social network service, it's just supposed to give you the service whenever you have this identity, right? So you basically then you have the opportunity to move your identity from one service to another, right? So I think this is they're
going to be interoperable.
Yeah, I think this is still coming. This is still coming. People are doing this. Like remember Nostra, they have some kind of a hype before, but right now it's a little bit fading off. But I believe people are behind Nostra. They're still kind of improving Nostra. And Jack Dorsey has that Blue Sky is on. I think they're on private beta. I haven't get the invite code yet, but I do see people, getting or sharing the invite code in the Twitter. Mm-hmm. I can see the Web 5. I know the dude in Web 5. They're still building things, and of course our blog we do wish to build some kind of a decentralized social network solutions. So that's always in my dream, right? So I always wanted to make this happen. We just didn't kind of rush into that because this is a huge problem. This is a very, very huge problem to solve, right? Yeah. So we would rather kind of do it slowly, and maybe some partners can working together with us. And before there's any partners, we probably kind of building the infrastructure, from ground up better and better. Yeah, I believe in the future, DID going to play a very, very important role for future decentralized social network. It's not just a Twitter. It's probably going to be a lot of different things. And those DID, if they are working well, they can interoperate with each other. That basically means that those decentralized social network can talk with each other. So that is going to be a very beautiful world. I don't know when it will happen, but I believe it's coming.
What do you think of the whole digital wallets, SMS, and stuff like that? What do you think about that? Because I know DID wallet, you could for every user that's on DID wallet, they can make their own website, Web3, and they kind of have their own kind of Facebook type of web page, landing page or whatever. But I also saw that, you kind of have like a WhatsApp sort of idea to this, right? Or is this kind of something I'm seeing where they're talking about digital wallets text messaging each other? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, you can build today. You can build it. You can build it now, and it's just but this is not like an out of the box support right now for our platform. We just have many different components. If you look at it like a Web3 kit, right? We have a Web3 kit, which is kind of a brothers and sisters to the AI kit. The Web3 kit have a bunch of different kits. One of the kits called a Discuss kit. So the Discuss kit can use a DID to create a forum, create a BBS, create a document site, create a Discord-like discussion channels. And we have a page kit to let people build up websites, create all kind of different websites. And the best thing is that they can compose them together into many different type of applications, right? They can build a decentralized social network right now. I think I just call for more developers to kind of discover our block and see what we can help to build this to build a new application for you, right? So so this is still something that I'm chasing right now. For example, I'm attending and also organizing more kind of events locally, some of them offline. It looks like right now we are using AI quite a bit to say, hey, this is AI meetup, this is AI events. But I always kind of turn them into, hey, AI and Web3 and how to build AI with our block, right?
I feel like they're complementary to each other, and you could make things faster. I think that's the biggest thing for me, because I understand how long it takes to make an application. And, for us, even for what we do have, it still took a little bit over a year to build out. And that's just, I would say more of a simpler app, but, these things take a lot of time to build out. So like, I've been really impressed with the infrastructure that ArcBlock has built, especially that you could build so many different types of dApps. It's not just a one pony show. You could create a variety of different dApps depending on whatever you need, whether it's like a page, NFTs, tickets, all sorts of cool stuff. And it's interoperable. A lot of people, they don't really remember that, yeah, you could there's blockchain, but then there's also different utilities that you could use tied together with that instead of, just a one-trick pony type of thing. There's different attachments that you could add to your blockchain company for multiple sources of revenue versus just one. So that's kind of, a big thing for me. Before I let you go, Robert, you have anything else to tell us before we depart here?
I don't have anything to add, but actually there are a lot of things going on. And thanks again for have this quick interview. And I look forward. There's more stuff to talk in the next couple weeks. And yeah, so actually we're doing quite a bit of things, and there's a lot of things, is getting better and better. And
when's the next MyData the MyData operator when you're talking?
The MyData conference is going to be on the May the 29th to June the 2nd, right? It's going to be in Finland, right? So I'm going to go to Finland and have to attend this conference and give 2 talks.
That's awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing that. And, thank you for everybody coming in. And again, Robert, thank you for taking the time. I know you're always busy. So, keep hustling out there. And, we're excited for ArcBlock.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And also, no matter how busy you are, and everybody's go to the gym like me, right? So I'm so happy that you say I'm slim.
Yeah, no, that's right. Robert's getting way more slim, so that's a good thing.
Hopefully next time. Oh, okay, actually, every time I'm going to compare myself with your past video, and hopefully next time I'm going to look better.
You're going to be jacked up the next one. You're going to be like this. All right, man.
All right.